Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, hello. Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes. Venus?
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is Venus from Nobel Neighbors.
Venus, this is Jim.
Oh, hey, Jim. All right, I'm just letting y'all know I'm in the meeting.
Good. Glad you're there.
I'm doing okay. Is this, Jim, is this Southwest? Invest Southwest meeting?
Yes. I think so.
Oh.
I'm
Yes,
not
it
sure. Yeah, okay.
Oh, okay.
How's that? That make it official?
hmm
Hi, this is Pete from the Northwest Connection Chamber. I got a quick question for Nobel Neighbors. Where's your office currently?
Venus, why don't you answer that?
I'm working from home right now, 3938 West Potomac.
Is your regular office still across the street from Nobel, or do you guys move?
No, we did have one there, but that church have been closed down.
Okay.
So it's been closed for because this pandemic.
Oh, so church.
So now I'm working from home.
Okay. I was just wondering but your regular office is still at the church, all right?
Yes, but like I say, it's closed down now.
I understand.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We have a P.O. box now, Pete.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a PO box too. Would you like the PO box
Sure.
number?
Sure.
It's hold on. It's at the post office on Division 5001 West Division.
Okay.
The PO box is 14312.
14312.
Mhm.
Okay. And 60651.
Yeah, 60651.
Okay, doke.
Venus,
I've been around.
is that
I've been around
box?
for about 20. I remember when you guys used to be on North Avenue. It's your office with Spanish Coalition at one time. That was a long time ago, though. When,
Was that question?
I remember when you guys were on North Avenue. So I've been.
Yeah, we were on north, just by North and Keystone Halls. Yeah.
Yep. On the South Side Street.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I've been with Nobel for over roughly 25 years. Lived here 23 years. 20 years. 21 years.
I've been with the chamber for 25 years, so I remember.
Okay.
Hey, all. This is Mike Perella with the city. I think we'll probably get started soon or now. I expect to have a smaller group in general, given the holidays, and I know a lot of my colleagues are out this week. But that doesn't mean we can't, have a good meeting. We're not going to wait around too long for everyone to show up, considering most people might be on vacation anyway. This will actually be a short meeting as well. I don't need to invest a lot of time in, department updates or things of that nature. I really want to hear more from the community and kind of give you an update on where we're at with the RFP. Hold on a second. There we go. I should be able to do that. So anyway, we'll just do a quick corridor manager update to start off with, and then we'll kind of go into like an overview of the RFP again. I know we discussed it, and we kind of all know where we're at with this, but I thought it might be good to have a quick refresher, just so we understand the stakes as we move into getting a consultant and creating an RFP for North Avenue corridor. Then let's discuss our two sites that we've been discussing a lot, and hear from you all about what you all think, and opportunities and the vision that we're kind of currently staking out, and then just basically wrap up, see if there's anything else we need to discuss, and we'll otherwise wrap up with the meeting. So without further ado, just ask that everyone mute their microphones and be respectful of other folks online as we move forward.
Mm,
Hold on a second. Okie dokie. So moving on. I think we're all pretty familiar with ourselves now. If anyone new on the line and wants to just say hello, feel free to do so now. But happy to have our partners together here today. Okay. With hearing no new introductions, Nadia, I didn't know if you wanted to do a quick update on the corridor manager program. I didn't see Caroline on the line. What's the status of just sort of that engagement, or is there anything new to report there from what was discussed last month?
I mean, we're working on getting the final contract from LISC, and I believe that this month. In the meantime, we're working on developing the work plan to achieve goals of the program and updating the North Avenue inventory of businesses, commercial rentals, and locations for sale that are available for investment.
Okay.
And then, as part of the quarter, we've been having the internal meetings to consensus for the site to be developed.
Okay, great. Thanks. All right. As I said, I kind of wanted to give just a broad strokes overview of the RFP again, just so we set the baseline again for what we're here to achieve in the coming year. As you know, the goal of Invest Southwest has been and as always will be sort of to reactivate the neighborhood cores that have previously been focal points, but now have maybe been disused and neglected, in hopes of sparking greater economic and community development. We have a number of neighborhoods across the south and west sides and corridors as well within those that we're having a particular focus on, and you can see that reflected in the map here. What is the RFP program specifically for the Invest Southwest program? Well, traditionally the city has RFP'd, or other agencies have RFP'd land, and we provide just the basic details of what the developer should expect in terms of the price for the land and pardon me, can someone mute their phone? Just make sure you're muted. I'm having some trouble speaking. Thank you. With the Invest Southwest program, we're trying to go one step further and illustrate a desired urbanism. That's kind of what we've been discussing previously and what we want to, get at more deeply today. What's the vision? What do we want to see, both in terms of the uses and the design? And we're also going to, make sure that design is feasible, via incentives by the city, and so that we understand that some of these designs have a cost, and we want to make sure that we can cover that with the city's investment as well. We're not planning for the site. That it's the developer's job, who respond to the RFP, to give us the ultimate end product. But we RFP are going to shape that response by kind of showing them what the community wants and what the city wants, so that if they deliver that design and they deliver that programming, it should be an easier process to get community support and legislative support in order to make it a reality. So we have three main goals: inclusive decision making, which is, again, this community feedback process that we're working through and we will work through in the new year. We want to build local wealth, and we want to facilitate design excellence. As I said, we want to show the developer what's feasible and what, a coordination with the community and the city incentives can do to achieve something really valuable for the corridor. The implications of this is that, the project may have to be funded, with maybe up to 50% of the costs of the city may need to be included in the, the total development cost. But we're okay with that, knowing that, these projects will have a catalytic impact on the community. We also want to build local wealth. I think this is nothing without having a real impact on who lives there now. I think I can't stress enough, especially from what I heard from North Avenue in general and Humboldt Park more broadly. This is a community of pride and a community of really rootedness to a place that's under threat. And if we can't bring in local developers, local interests, and local partners, then we can't achieve success. And of course, there's reasons why, because local people invest in their community and stay in their community. And of course, we want good design. I think the commissioner is very focused on that. We want to really show that there's the good design isn't just relegated to the north side. We want to bring it to the west and south sides as well. And that's easy enough to achieve if we give people the right vision and the right focus. And part of that process, and what we're going to do in the coming months, is sort of take different design ideas from our consultant, at least 3 different massing models, and vet them and say, okay, which one fits this site the best, and which one is the most suitable to our needs. And then we'll of course choose a preferred one. And again, I want to keep this very brief because we've touched on this before. But I just wanted to. These are some examples of the program that the commissioner had done in Detroit, and some ones you'll see from the city of Chicago that I thought, given kind of the properties that we're looking at, may be illustrative, for what could be achieved in some of the vacant land that we have, and then even the Pioneer Bank or other sites on the corridor. But given like the linear nature of this building and the narrow lot, we can do a lot of really interesting uses, not just residential but community as well, and even public spaces on those properties. And here's a housing project that's currently underway that we try to push for contextual and better design within the Logan Square community. Again, on a narrow lot, and and then of course, you have your Independence Park Library building, which incorporates senior housing and a library, which is kind of a model that we've discussed. And again, just more broadly, we can achieve really good design with kind of the areas that we've looked at in terms of what geography we want to locate our RFP. So with that, we'll go on to the opportunity sites that we've discussed. Of course, we all know the Pioneer Bank building. We have the building in red and then the vacant property to the north. And again, I was imagining, in those designs I just showed, would be a nice fit for that blue outlined box. But I know there's some, competing interests, I suppose, or if not competing, at least complementary, that we could do, maybe both, if we focus as well on Paul's Hispanic housing project, just to the southeast of the Pioneer Bank building. I know the preference now is to try and do both. As I said before, we're given the nature of Invest Southwest, we may need to heavily subsidize either project, so it may not be feasible, but we don't want to rule it out yet. I think I want to be very clear about this. The consultant, once they're engaged, is going to drive the kind of the design process, and then from there we'll develop a cost. And if we have a good programming in mind and we know the cost, then we can look at what's available resource-wise and make a determination of what we can and can't do in this corridor. So just for everyone's benefit, regarding the consultant, CCAC, the Chicago Central Area Committee, is a coordinating agency that brings in the consultant on DPD's behalf. And this work has been done for the previous 6 RFPs and will be done in the future entirely pro bono. However, CCAC is the coordinating agency, and they don't work for free. The North Avenue RFP is next in line for RFP, with the goal of having out released in February. We are currently negotiating with CCAC to ensure that they have foundational support to support our initiative, and the I's need to be dotted and the T's need to be crossed there. What that means for us is that we do not have a schedule yet for January and February in terms of how our engagement process will work out. So I can't share that with you now, but I am assured that we will be moving forward, and we'll start with a kickoff meeting sometime in January once CCAC formally signs on to take on the project moving forward, and that if there is a delay, it won't be delayed indefinitely, or it won't be canceled outright. We're moving forward with this project. We just need to make sure at the start of the new year that everyone is clear on their roles and responsibilities and has the support they need, so we can develop a schedule for what we need to do moving forward, and start the work. So again, I wanted to be very brief today because I know the community has more to say than I do about what they want to see, and I really just want to hear from you all so that we're clear on a collective vision, so we can really hit the ground running. Because I think that this groundwork we're laying today can mean a faster and more enjoyable process moving forward.
Hello, can you still hear me?
Yes, yes, I can.
This is Venus. Somebody had asked me some information. I didn't get the gentleman's name, but he had asked me some information about Nobel neighborhood. I was driving then, so now I'm at home. So I want to give him the correct PO box number. Is that gentleman still on the line?
Yes, I am. This is Pete from Northwest Connection Chamber.
Okay, Pete. Okay, correction. The number is 51243. PO Box 51243. 5001 West Division, Chicago, Illinois 60651.
Okay, doke.
The name of the post office called Robert LaFleur Station.
Yeah, I'm aware of it. I don't. You don't have to put the name of the post office. You just need to put the PO box, the zip code.
Okay. Okay. Well,
Our email
that's all the
list.
correction.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
So, Mike, I just wanted to give a little bit of a summary of what was discussed in our internal meeting on December 18, which was Friday. And we didn't have everybody, like Mr. Alderman Maldonado wasn't there. The people from the Latino Theater Alliance were not there. But I'm going to give them an update with the minutes that I will send today.
Nadia, I did not know I was supposed to be there. I was
Well,
unaware. I thought it was just your group, and you did not want city or elected officials at that meeting. Otherwise, I would have been part of it.
well, the invitation was sent. So, but now it's good that it's clarified that you'll be part of that meeting as well. So, and then the reason why I mentioned that you were not part of the meeting, I mean, that you were not present in the meeting is because obviously what we discussed, you were not there, and I know what you're pushing for the Latino Theater Alliance, and I actually did not have the contact information for Mrs. Salazar. So I made sure to get in contact with her, get her up to date to what we discussed as well. And then obviously she'll be invited for the next meeting that we have. But
So you were able to get a hold of her?
I was able to get actually contact information. I got her email address. So I will reach out to her today. Actually, your office helped me.
Okay.
Catherine. So, anyway, I just wanted to update what things that were discussed. Bill made his proposal on the North and Pulaski Library and Affordable Housing Project, which we have before, but we kind of wanted to go over, how each one will meet the needs of the community that were revealed from the Invest Southwest kickoff meeting, was it? What was called in February. So then, we had the presentation, and obviously Paul Roldan also made his presentation on the 1535 North Pulaski Senior Housing. Then, I myself and Emmanuel Davila, which is part of the SBDC program that we have at Puerto Rican Cultural Center, we also both propose kind of developing, first, like obviously trying to develop both ideas, like the North Avenue and the housing project for Hispanic housing. And then kind of like seeing the possibility of adapting the North Avenue Bank into an empowerment center that could house the Latino, Hispanic, and the Latino Theater Alliance, and some of the ideas that Noble Neighbors have.
All right, well, we'll talk to you soon. Bye. Will do.
Okay.
Yeah, there is somebody there that is very excited on the phone, and others they were having a pre-holiday celebration. Can everybody put on yourself on mute so that we can listen to Nadia? Thank you.
So what we proposed was like, we don't know what is the amount of money that is going to be invested in this project. But the one thing that, I had discussed with Mike was that, we might be able to, propose both and then kind of work with the city to see what we can achieve, right? So we were proposing, what about if we do the bank property?
Nadia, you're on mute.
Oh, sorry, got muted again. So what we discussed was, trying to push for both projects, and then maybe instead of having the empty lot of the bank turn into a affordable housing, we would like push for the Hispanic housing project, so we can have both worlds.
Well, Nadia, I'm sorry. The need for affordable housing for working families is very, very important to me. And I have also 150% embraced Paul Roldan's development. And so I don't know that we need to pick one or the other. We need to push for both. And I will not accept anything less than that. I have been very unapologetic and very explicit with the city of Chicago, and Mike can attest to that, that I would like to see both happening. So I'm not gonna allow myself to be part of a conversation in which we're gonna have to pick one or the other. I want both to be on the table at all times. Otherwise, we're gonna end up like we always end up, getting crumbs instead of getting a nice piece of salmon, which is what I eat. I don't eat meat.
And that's fine, because I did tell Mike that you were not in the meeting. So this was just ideas that we kind of discussed without you in the meeting. And so it wasn't finalized. So, so we take it into consideration your position. And so the one thing that we were trying to kind of come to an agreement was what was going to be at the bank. So I know that you were pushing for the Latino Theater Alliance, and we thought that we could combine some of the ideas that Bill had of some aspects of a library with a more of an empowerment center that would also house the Latino Theater Alliance. So we were thinking along the lines of, and this is something that Emmanuel kind of also presented. So it would be an area that would provide access to computers for the community, capacity building on entrepreneurship and professional development, some activities for youth and families, access to healthy food, co-working spaces, possibly an indoor playground where families can spend time with their kids. And then I envision that also, like, elderly can be around that area, just kind of spending their time as well. And this will allow for also, we envision kind of like a booth for resources from the city of Chicago, all of the social agencies of the area. It will just be like an info booth, and that and would also serve as a kind of like an info center for all of the sites of interest of Humboldt Park. So just kind of like a tourism, info center as well. But these are just like ideas that we discussed. We just wanted to, make way to include kind of everybody's ideas into this bank property.
I hope that the bank is large enough to accommodate all those ideas into it. And let me just suggest maybe, you know, I don't know what Paul thinks about this, but the first floor of the senior building on Pulaski, and it has a beautiful facade that is, I think, is a landmark, right? I think Bill would know that. Um, um, Maybe I suggested this to Mike, that maybe that first floor could be the relocation of the library, because it will be inside the facility of a senior building next to another senior building, and it would be a great asset for not only the senior community that lives there, but also for the rest of the community. Or on the first floor of the affordable housing development on Pulaski behind the bank. So in that way, you don't cramp on the first floor. The Latino theater company of the bank with the library. And then obviously your idea of having the subsequent floors above the first floor, the ground floor of the bank, for those community groups, computer rooms, and all those other amenities that you mentioned, it would be a great use for that, unless there is a need also to rent some of those offices or space to generate revenues to, I don't know, to offset whatever debt might be against those developments.
Well, I mean, I think, you know, these are ideas that we can, you know, all of the stakeholders can entertain and then see what, you know, kind of compromise can each one, you know, have and, you know, agree to. So, but I think these are, you know, valid ideas of what could be done.
Roberto, I appreciate your support for both of these. And, you know, I took some time to, along with William, to make a presentation on Friday in a little bit more detail. And, you know, this design of our property that you're seeing on the screen now, I guess, is preserving, that building right now is a green building. And, you know, that means, you know, that we have to tell the city that we're about to demolish it. We wouldn't want to demolish it. It was that front facade, which is the primary architectural, you know, strength of that building, was designed by Jens Jensen, an award-winning architect. And we've had Urban Works, which is a woman-owned architectural firm, Pat Saldana, who is, you know, a prominent architect, design this new building behind the facade of that existing building. So it's, I think, a very, sensitive approach to maintaining what's there, respecting the history, architectural history, and providing something new that doesn't contrast with it. But the point I'm trying to get to is that we have virtually working plans and drawings. We submitted an application to the city last year that was turned down.
All froze.
You're frozen.
Frozen for me as well. Can you still hear me, everyone, or?
In my building, right?
I can still hear you, Mike.
So, Paul, we had you kind of froze up.
Okay.
When you were mentioning the application.
Yeah. So the point is, you know, we submitted an application. I think you may have heard that this is a woman-owned architectural firm by Patricia Saldana. She's a Latina, award-winning architectural firm. I don't know what the consultants are that the that the Chicago Central Area Committee is selecting, but I'm hoping that they have some Black and brown people in those consultants. In any case, I don't see this with the bank across the street. The bank across the street has to bring together financing for a library. I don't know that the city's financing libraries today. They have to bring financing together for perhaps this empowerment center. The Latino Theater Alliance has to find money to put into this. If the city's going to put up 50%, they've got to raise capital for the other 50% to build it out, and then also find operational. How do they keep operating going out? The same is true for everything else in that building except the library, which I presume the city will support once it's open. So the point is,
Is anyone else having trouble hearing Paul?
Yeah, I can hear him. He froze.
Okay.
I don't know. I can't. When he gets to the most important part of his comment, he freezes out. I don't know
Right. So,
what's going on.
so the treasure is buried in, and then right.
Is everybody frozen?
No,
No.
I could. No, you're good.
Nadia, are you frozen?
No, I'm not frozen.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah, but Paul is gone. Let me see. Maybe he's having problems and he's disconnecting because I don't see him.
Yeah, he's gone now. Yeah.
I
think sure. Yeah.
May I say something related to the presentation on Friday? So Alderman and others, Paul and I gave a presentation as well as the Puerto Rican Cultural Center related to the bank and renderings and ideas about what each level, the vault, the main hall, the first or the second floor and the third floor could be. And then at the end, the Puerto Rican Cultural Center gave this proposal for an empowerment center. And I think what we came to is we said that, and I know Alderman, you said, well, can it accommodate all those? I think the
Bill,
bank is.
I have to reboot, so I missed the initial.
Oh, okay.
Comments. Can you start again, please?
Long story short is I just want to say that I think it's great that you have a bottom line that these two projects must happen. So I just wanted to say that, one. Two, I wanted to say that I appreciate that you are encouraging all of us stakeholders to put our ideas together and see how we can make it happen. I think that if we look at the property, the bank, as well as the vacant lot as more of like a planned development, I don't imagine them as two separate. This has an empowerment center, if it has the Little Theater Alliance, if it has a library, the situating or putting where those things would be, we could talk about, that's debatable, right? But I think that if we look at it as one major planned development, the affordable housing library, and all these three things, and we've imagined it connected through that. There's an alley behind the library. I'm sorry, behind the bank, before you hit the empty lot. And so I don't know about this, but we imagine it connected in some sort of way, so that it would be one space, essentially, with all of these uses. So, and what I love about
That's been always
Paul,
part of the.
I love to say about Paul.
Bill, you're breaking up. Bill, you're on mute.
Bill, you're on mute.
Okay, my fault. I apologize. I don't know where I left off, but I want to say that I think we could accommodate all of the visions from the stakeholders within a planned development, not just like two separate developments, but in a planned development on the bank and the empty lots.
Yeah, I think
And in fact, I've put in the empowerment center within the Noble Neighbors proposal, just to show that it can happen.
Nadia, you're
Yeah,
on,
no,
you're on mute.
Oh, I'm sorry, like it's going on and off. That we had taken in our proposal, we had taken the lot out just because, we thought, well, maybe, if we go with one housing project, we can go with the other one. But if we have we're backed up by Alderman Maldonado that he would like to have both, then, it's good to have, we'll go that way. And the fact that if we include that lot as well for affordable housing, we can also use, the commercial space of that area for, the empowerment center, and some of the activities that we mentioned. It doesn't have to be at the bank. We just wanted to kind of, put everything at the bank location, thinking that, if we have to compromise in space, well, we'll have to put everything in there, but not necessarily if we are using the empty lot in the back. But I think like at least, we've been able to kind of, refine a little bit more on the sites that that are being, open for discussion. So I think it's an achievement that now we're like, and maybe, Alderman Maldonado, maybe you were at this point, with both sites in your mind for a long time. But I think that at least with the people that were in the meeting on Friday, there's more consensus about these two sites.
Well, I have said repeatedly at these meetings that I have always supported Paul's project, but I will not give in on not to include the vacant lot as part of the project to build affordable housing. To me, it should be a non-negotiable item. And in terms, the reason that I'm so passionate about bringing the Latino Art Alliance there is because it will bring a very strong cultural component to the redevelopment of the Invest Southwest on the North Avenue corridor that will disinvite people that do not have the Latino culture in mind coming into this site to try to be part of this redevelopment. That's why I'm so passionate about this. And I don't know if Paul heard my question. If the first floor of the senior building on Pulaski will be suitable to relocate the library there, obviously in addition to the senior development there. And if not, maybe the first floor, part of the first floor of the lot north of the bank, which will use it at some point. It has to be used for some kind of commercial purpose. And to Bill's point, yes, I have had conversations already with the Commissioner Cox, and he has the idea of annexing the land north of the bank with the alley. And years ago, when the existing owners wanted to redevelop that for an affordable housing and commercial, we did explore whether there was utilities underneath that alley, and we found out that there was none. So the annexing of that alley it should be a fairly easy proposition to accomplish. And two, Commissioner Cox mentioned that maybe somehow we can amend the the TIF boundaries to include that land that right now is not part of the TIF. And I think that the city can work its magic to make that happen.
Yes. Yeah. Well, we would need to do that as it's not included in a TIF if we want to access TIF funds. So, and I want to say there is a precedent in the RFP the city did it in Inglewood, of doing like a site 1A and site 1B as part of this Invest Southwest program. And I think that the winning respondent, or the respondents, I should not winning, but the respondents could bid on either A or B or both. And we included like a vision and a cost and all that analysis as part of that RFP. So the idea of doing a dual project, again, we do have a precedent for that. And obviously it would increase the overall cost. But it's not, again, we don't want to rule anything out. And in fact, we have done it in the past.
This is Paul Roldan again. I'm not sure where I was cut out. I got really lousy broadband in my building, but I'm hoping that I conveyed the message that I'm seeing this as two separate projects, that one is got a long way to go and one is what I keep calling shovel ready. And I think that that's important. I think that corner is a critical corner for the vitality and evolution of that community, and doing both of these would be great. But I don't see us as competing within, a year and a half or so. I think there's, the concepts are great, but they're going to take a while to pull capital from a lot of different sources to both build and to operate long term.
No, thanks, Paul, for finishing your thought, and I appreciate that perspective, and I do agree in that regard.
Yeah, and Mike, listen, I'm not a politician, nor do I want to be, but the fact of the matter is that I would think that the mayor and her administration would want to see something sooner than much later that they can strut, and showcase.
Yeah, I'm not a politician either, but I don't disagree. Yeah, I think, again, I think we're the only challenge I see, and besides like the overall cost, is that we have you're at the table with, you said, a shovel ready project, and we have a vision for something else as well. We'll both are within proximity to each other, which will obviously be complementary and uplifting for the community. And we have to kind of fit it within our department framework, right? This Invest Southwest program, and just like so it's not like a square peg into a round hole situation, but we do have to make sure that we continue forward with the initiative that our commissioner has staked out and the department has staked out. And again, that doesn't mean we can't do both, and they're certainly not mutually exclusive. But I think, in other words, that challenge can be overcome. And I think once we have our consultant engaged and working with you all in the community, it'll become clearer, moving forward in the new year.
By the way, just because I'm a developer, I'm always pursuing ideas. What I would offer up, William, on this indoor playground, that it really not be indoor, that you could actually use the flat roof of the bank building, which is an enormous area, for not necessarily an indoor playground, but a playground that services the whole community year round, but on top of the structure.
I think that's a wonderful idea, considering, when we think about gentrification, these rooftop bars and whatnot, would be a play on that and saying, listen, this is for the community. This is for the young people. We're not going to do those type of things. We're going to flip on that. We're going to do a flip on that. So I appreciate that suggestion. I do want to say two other things. One is a question related to the RFP process. Well, let me say something before I say that. I did look at the RFP process for the Laramie State Bank in Austin, what the city already did. And they have in their presentation kind of like goalposts. And it says that the RFP would come out for February for the North Avenue corridor. And it extends it out to when they think this thing would be constructed. And it indicates that it would be could be done by third quarter 2023, which is interesting because in 2024 will be the 100-year anniversary of the bank. But I did see that the city has extended it out to third quarter 2023. Is that right, Mike?
Yeah, and when we talk about timelines and that that far out, we do tend to speculate, right? I mean, the RFP is there to solicit developers who are going to bring viable plans to the table. The hard work of negotiating the specifics of the deal and then getting a shovel in the ground, that's the part, as Paul could attest as well, that takes the time. So we want to. I think the whole point of this program is to generate a lot of buzz and excitement around these corridors and get people to the table quickly and get good projects that we can finance and that we can deliver to the community in terms of a vision like fully fleshed out. And then once we do that, we'll try to move as fast as we can through the entitlement process to get us to get the project moving forward. And if we have to prioritize in this regard between two different projects, given a funding constraint, we can do that, and we'll just require some flexibility and patience maybe from all parties. But again, until we get the RFP out and see what comes back, I don't want to. We'll have a clear idea of when the work could begin, like the actual physical work can begin.
Okay, and then the second point or thought I have or question I have is, once we get into this consultant process and RFP process, I think what's important for all of us on the line, all stakeholders in Humboldt Park, in the western half of Humboldt Park or MOSA, is that community control, is that community, more grassroots type of acknowledgement rather than the top down, and how much are we going to concede? How much are we going to have to concede when the city gets involved and the consultants get involved?
The consultants are there to shape your vision and provide additional insight and detail on what is feasible. Like I said, I don't want to
shovel. What about shovel ready? I mean, Paul's is shovel ready, and it has designs already.
Sure. Well, in that regard, they would go through the city's design review process, and we would and planning and process that would accompany any project of that scale. So I mean, the city is going to have its say on what what is possible and what it might look like. When it's in our interest, of course. But again, we don't. Your point's well taken, and there will be a balancing act, and that's all I can really say at this time. We're not. I don't think we're here, and I don't think it's ever been the commissioner's goal to dictate the terms of what a community wants. It's just we need to make sure that we can deliver on those promises. And if we can't, that may, and then we have to, deliver that bad news, right? But again, I don't want to get too far out in front of that process because until a consultant is here, until we have that first visioning workshop session, which I think will be really tremendously successful because I can go to them before they even starts and say, this is what the community's already already provided for us, what vision they already have, what they want to see. So we can kind of start from first base even. So they can already get some feedback to your ideas, at that first workshop, and I think it'll really help the process, and I think it'll be, really beneficial.
Mike, those consultants that you've been talking so much about, didn't you tell me that they were a non-for-profit? Are they?
The CCAC, the Chicago Central Area Committee. No, the consultants are not non-for-profit. No.
They're not. Okay.
No, they're.
Are they minority owned, or they are why not?
I don't know. Some of them have been. I know some of them, like your big designers and that you've downtown designers that you've probably heard of. Related to other big projects in town. But I don't know all the parties involved. And again, I want to be clear. I haven't been doing the direct negotiation with the consultants or the CCAC team. So I don't have all the details there.
That answers your question, Bill.
Thanks.
Okay. If there's anything else, happy to listen, and I'm glad we had this, and we got a chance to kind of see. And Nadia, I think you provided an email earlier to me with kind of staking out that vision too. So I'm really glad to have that in writing. But again, I will update everyone in this group as soon as we have the consultants engaged, so that so kind of what the schedule will be looking like going forward in January, and in so much that I do have a say over who gets selected and how and who they represent in terms of the community. I'll bring that to Gerardo as well, Alderman, and Bill and everyone else on the line, to make sure that we have somebody who has who looks like the community representing us. So
Mike, I'm sorry to interrupt, but before we go, if I could just say a few things. I'm kind of new to this, but I wanted to share a perspective of someone that grew up in North Avenue for 30 years. And kind of, I'm at that age where people in that community are coming of age and want to put down roots in that area. And my grandmother's 92. She lives on North Avenue in Richmond, and right all around her, she's facing gentrification head on. And if it wasn't for us, she would be displaced, right? And my thing with this project is, and forgive me if I'm new and whatever, but maybe it's a little idealistic, right? I'm seeing a community where people of my age are coming of age, and we didn't have access to financial training, educational training, proper entrepreneurial training. And now many of them own their businesses or are facing either they're going to have to leave that area that they called home, or they're going to go, try to work 2 or 3 jobs just to be able to live in that area. And I think ultimately we don't want that to happen for anyone. So when I think of gentrification, I think of it being more of an illness rather than a set of systems that we continue throughout the city to give aspirins for. And there's only so many aspirins you can give people before, aspirin kills you. So my thing is, I feel as a resident that this project gives us the opportunity to treat the illness as opposed to slapping Band-Aids and giving aspirin to people and trying to, fight off gentrification as much as possible. If that's the ultimate goal of what some of the stakeholders want, right? Which is we want to remain in the community. We want people to have those opportunities. So I'll give you an example. My brother, who's 42 years old, who's been at the same job for 10 years, but doesn't know how to use Indeed.com to search for a job, doesn't know how to make a resume. Now that could be the difference between, a single mom working 2 jobs, one at CVS and Salvation Army, or it could just be where she can go to a place, get the resources she needs to be able to organize her summary, her work, her everything into a nice, package that we all know how to do, but maybe she doesn't, and can get her a job that maybe pays an extra $2 or $3 to help her not have to work that extra job and actually be able to afford to live in that community and not be displaced further and further away. So I feel that, yes, the different things in that we're proposing sound like a lot to fit into a building, but we have a ton of resources, nonprofits, and everybody around us that are ready to work. They just need the space to do it inside that community. So I think that all of these ideas that Paul shared, Bill shared, we've shared, Maldonado has shared, they can all go in this place to treat the illness of gentrification as opposed to just continuing to give aspirin to people, which is not going to work. So as a resident, someone that I know people who have been shot and killed right on that corner, I want to be able to see people, do the same things that they do in the nice neighborhoods on that North Avenue corridor, being able to run good, successful businesses there and pass that on generation after generation, no financial literacy, be able to get a higher paying job with benefits and a retirement plan so that 50 years from now, they don't have to be in a situation where they don't know where they're going to live. So I just wanted to say that, I think all of these ideas are great. And as long as we make sure that it's coming from that place of treating that illness, then I think that we can find a consensus much more quickly and be able to move forward with a project that maybe the city could use as a model for everywhere else. And that's all I have.
No, thank you very much. I appreciate that a lot. And I hope we can deliver. I really do.
So I think like on our side, we'll convene another day to get together internally and then kind of dive in a little bit more into the ideas that we have mentioned here and see how we can work on the two sites and kind of define more what kind of services and resources we would like to see inside the bank and in the other lot. And also think about how we can also bring, you know, businesses, what kind of businesses we want to see inside, which will bring wealth as well. Because if we, as I understand, like if we bring a lot of non-for-profits, well, we don't produce, we help people, we provide resources, but we need to have, businesses growing in there as well.
That sounds good. Go ahead. Go ahead, Bill.
I'm just going to add to what Nadia was saying. I've been thinking a lot about what constitutes wealth building, and what we all hear on these calls, what we imagine. Wealth building is also being able to have rootedness in place. Wealth building also has to do with building social capital between families, youth, long-time residents. We have homeless, we have different types of folks, workers in the community. That's social capital. It's not only monetary capital, it's social capital. And I feel like a public space builds that. And I would like to expand this idea of wealth, not only monetary, but also, a space that, essentially we're building a bulwark against gentrification, like a stance, right? Like, and that is truly allows folks who are essentially housing burdens to build wealth, to save, to have a breathing room. So I want to keep that in mind as well, not only capital wealth, but also that social capital and the wealth of community and neighborhood and culture.
Thanks, Bill.
I really have to go I need to jump into another meeting. So I'm going to be leaving right now. So I want to wish you all a happy holidays. And I hope that next time that we meet, we have even better news than that we have achieved so far. At the end of the day, I'm hopeful about this project. So far, I don't have any reasons to doubt the sincerity of Commissioner Cox. I really, so far, I do believe in that he has the heart in the right place, and the commitments that he has made to me so far, he has delivered. And so at this point, I don't have any reasons to doubt. But for those of you that know me, the moment that I will start seeing some deviation from our original commitment, I'll be the first one to be raising my hand or screaming or being Puerto Rican. Okay. Happy holidays to all of you. Bye.
Take care.
Okay.
Thanks, Alderman. So next steps, I don't know why this is showing up here, but we should have a roundtable on January 25th. That's our next scheduled one. I hope we can meet before then. And if we're meeting before then, it's because we have a consultant engaged and we're doing a workshop. But I will update you as soon as I have those next steps in place. And otherwise, we'll definitely see you again January 25th. Okie doke. Take care, everybody, and have a happy holidays.
Yeah, have a good Christmas.
Thank you.
Likewise.